All right, hello, hello, welcome everybody. Another edition live at Drew's house. Hope everybody is doing okay. Warmer weather moving in. We are now in April. Yes, this is our first show of April, so very good. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to get right to our story of the day because it's one of those shows where I get a lot more people than I usually do to conduct an interview with, which I like. This will be fun, but we're going to need a little extra time. So let's get right to it. It is the story of Greater Lawrence Tech Soccer. And it's a fun one. I'm going to be joined by the coach here and a bunch of the team members. And you know what? Let's start with the coach right now. Coach Thomas Ringler is here. Coach, how are you?
Good. Great to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
Excellent. How about you tell us the story? Because this has been a unique year for you in a lot of ways. Tell me a little bit about
it. So this season, 2020, 21, COVID-related pandemic, really threw a big wrinkle in, playing soccer, especially at high school. And so last fall, Greater Lawrence Tech was not allowed to play soccer. That was really very disappointed and frustrating for a lot of players. Luckily, we are now in what's called Fall 2. And almost like on the last day we were able to join the league, the school decided that we were able to play, so which was great. So we rushed to sign up all the players. We got 17 boys sign up for the team, and then it turned out that the girls team was actually short of players to field a full team. In addition to that, the girls coach had a new job, so she couldn't join, so she couldn't commit to coaching the team again. So at that point, I talked to my assistant coaches and said, hey, it's really too bad. All these girls signed up, but they can't have a team. What about inviting them to play with the boys and field a co-ed team in a boys varsity? The assistant coaches said, yep, let's do it. Our athletic director said, yes, let's do it. The administration, let's do it. We talked to all the other schools. They said, yes, that's fine with us. So we said, girls, if you want to play with the boys, you're more than welcome. And here you are. 8 girls signed up and are playing now with the boys for the last 6 weeks.
All right, crazy. And we're joined by a bunch of the girls right now. So just to be clear, you were the boys coach. And now you're coaching this one group. Fantastic. So let's meet some of the players. Just from my angle, I'm not sure how it's going to come across on the TV, but Brianna, say hello and introduce yourself and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Brianna Aguinaga-Aleman. I'm a sophomore at GLTS, and I joined the soccer team because I love to do sports, and soccer is one of my favorite sports.
Did you hesitate?
I'm glad I have this opportunity.
Very sweet. Did you hesitate at all about playing with the boys, or?
No, I thought it'd be a fun experience, so I just went for right away.
Right away. Very cool. Kylie, how about you? Say hello. Is it Kylie? Yep.
Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm a sophomore at GLTS. I decided right now I'm doing 2 sports. I do dance and I do soccer. I decided to join soccer because for some reason, it's always been my motivation just to start running around. And I really didn't have a hesitation to play soccer with the boys. It's just a fun experience, and you get to meet new people.
They've been pretty cool with you, welcoming and all that?
The boys are very nice. They're very calm, and they're good.
Except they're late a lot, right?
Basically.
Kaylee, we'll go to you. Kaylee Ortiz, it appears you're joining us from possibly underneath a bunk bed. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm Kaylee. I'm a senior. I've been playing soccer for how long? A while. And it's honestly been awesome to get my final chance of playing before I end up graduating. So even if it was a guys team, I was excited for this opportunity.
Cool. And it's been fun? The boys have been welcoming?
Of course, yeah. They've all been super chill.
Super chill.
I like that. About
it. Say that again. I talked over one more time.
Oh, that they've all been super sweet and understanding that I'm out of shape. especially with quarantine.
Interesting. All right, very good. And Lizette, you have the Lizette, pull that camera down a little bit so we can. There we go. We had half your face. Your coach was telling me you're all not used to having to show your faces as much as just be there for classrooms, right?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm a junior. I've been playing soccer for a long while, and I was hesitant on joining. I don't know. I found it unusual, and I was thinking of doing skills, but I don't know. I just thought it would be fun to join.
Are you happy you did?
Yeah, I'm happy I joined.
Brianna, what's been the toughest part about there have to be some obstacles about playing with the boys, right? I mean, there's some things that just must annoy girls about guys, right?
Yeah, just boys. But I think something that has been a little bit difficult was like learning names because they already had a season together, so we didn't really know them that well. But it got easy eventually.
That's a good point. You don't even think about that stuff. It's chemistry and reintroducing yourself to people you don't even know. Kylie, how about you? What's been the toughest part?
Well, the names, but I guess the boys are pretty fast and they have all the skills. But like the boys on our team are very nice, but when you really think about it with other boys from other teams, they never really get to see the girls playing with other boys. So they're always like they always judge us by how we are and how we look, and they don't actually really give us a chance.
Huh.
That's probably one of the toughest parts.
Kaylee, have you noticed that from other teams that come on to play you that you get some looks like what's going on here?
Yeah. Other teams we would hear like guys like say little comments, just like, oh, why, like, don't hesitate. Since it's like more common, like we're girls, they'll be like, I've noticed some of them are kind of like, let's not push. And you'll hear some of the guys be like, just push her, like, just do it, which is not that big of a deal. But it's like, I don't know how it makes me feel. It's kind of just new, I suppose.
You just
like
want to be
girls. Yeah.
You just want to be
Like,
treated like the boys, right?
Yeah, I'll push them. No hesitation. I'm not strong, but I'll make the effort to push you. You can make the effort too. Like I won't hesitate.
That is fantastic. If you don't push me, I'm going to push you. I love that. Lizette, is that kind of the strange thing for you too? Is just the other teams when they're first playing against you?
Yeah.
Is that in your background, Lizette? Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's in my background. Hold on.
Oh, tell everybody we said hello. Coach, it seems like your girls here are handling this great. There's obviously a lot of built-in obstacles that come into this, and they seem to be doing great. I imagine you have some kind words to say about your boys, though, too, because I'm sure some of them have gone the extra mile to make sure everybody's included and maybe even having to deal with some stuff on the other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It is such a great experience. And I tell you, I will miss this team when we play them separately again, the boys and the girls with their own team when we get back to a normal season in September. So I know I will miss it. And really, for one, the main reason is the dynamics in the team is very different. Here on one hand, we have, and I call them the fearless girls. I should really say fearless young women. Because, it is, the boys are, at that age, they are physically just stronger. But I don't see any fear by our girls, not in practice, not in games, which is awesome to watch. And I think it gives also a little bit of a life lesson. Never fear anything. And none of the girls fear anything on the field. And I think that's great. And at the same time, the boys are a lot less boys because of the girls around. They are very respectful. There is no judging. It might be the other teams sometimes, though. Overall, I must say all the teams we played were pretty cool about it. I didn't really hear much negative. But just the combination of these respectful boys and fearless girls, it's such a great experience. And I will miss it. I know it already.
That's interesting to hear you say that. So this is, when it comes to coaching, this will be one of the more rewarding experiences you've ever had.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow, that's interesting to hear. Brianna, must be pretty cool to hear your coach say that, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
One of the more rewarding years. What is when it comes to like the actual dynamics of playing? Like you understand a lot of you've kind of worked that out with the boys. What's it like with the practices? Are you at the point where you're genuinely enjoying being around each other as a team and have come together as a team at this point, Brianna?
Yeah, we're all getting along way more. Like I feel like when we do good in a game, we can all be happy as a team. Like nobody's left out anymore. We're all one. So when we all like feel the same emotions when we're out there, and we all try to beat each other up if somebody's down. Like coach always says, we have to cheer each other on the sidelines because it helps people on the field do way better.
Yeah. So you mean if Kaylee pushes somebody down, or you just mean like mentally down? Kaylee, jump in here for a second. You haven't taken down any of the boys at practice, have you?
I have a joke with a player. So during one of our little scrimmages, I call myself jokingly the ankle biter because I go after it. He is like very good with footwork. So if ever I'm one-on-one with him, I go for it. And he's admitted he's scared when I come up because I just go. So I call myself like the ankle biter.
That is fantastic. Is that your dog behind you, by the way?
Oh, it's my cat.
A cat. Oh, it's a cat. You can bring the cat on.
Whenever I'm on the computer,
There you
she
go.
wants the attention.
What's the cat's name?
Raven.
Raven. Television debut. There you go. Kylie, how about you? What's it been like practicing and getting to know this kind of whole team, watching this chemistry come together?
To be honest, I don't really know how to explain it in words. I just had the best time of my life right now for this season because when they said that we were not going to have a girls team, I was just very bummed. Soccer's basically everything to me. Meeting boys and everything, it's good to see them having fun, but seeing them with us, it's like, I don't really know how to put this in words. They're more gentle. They're not just themselves anymore.
Yes, you've gained different respect for the boys. I like that. Lizette, have you noticed that as well? Have you been fascinated by this team's coming together?
Yeah, I have. I noticed a difference in character. Usually they're more like rough and stuff, but towards us they're more nicer, they're more respectful.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
You went nicely. That must be kind of that's a fascinating experience, Coach, because I bet you had your questions too about how this would all play out, and then you see this kind of well-formed group. It must be cool to see in looking back.
Oh yeah, right. So we didn't really know what we got into when we made the decision, but we said, let it just play out. But I must, I'm not a teacher at the school, but when I started coaching at Greater Lawrence Tech, I noticed that the school has something very unique, and it's very open-minded and very flexible when it comes to these things. Not much judging as far as I can tell. So I thought it's probably, it's going to work out, and it did. So no regrets at all. As I said, I'm loving it, and I'm going to miss it. I saw that Alan Garcia, one of the boys, actually joined us late, but he joined us. So
is he here right now? I don't.
I see him.
Jump in there and talk. I'm sorry. What was his name?
Alan Garcia.
Ellen, are you there?
Yeah.
There we go. How do we bring you up here? Let's see. Oh, there we are. How are you, Alan? Good to see you.
Hello.
Alan, what's it been like playing on this team this year? Kind of a unique deal.
What's been like? I don't know, to be honest.
The girls have given you all sorts of compliments on how the boys have welcomed them in as equals on this team, and now you're one flying unit. That must be pretty cool to hear from your teammates.
Uh-huh.
Alan, you're a man of few words.
Yeah, because I have no comments.
Brianna, is Alan always like this?
Yeah, he's one of the quiet ones.
He's one of the quiet ones. It's funny. Coach was joking beforehand about how all the girls were completely on time here for this, and none of the boys were. I thought that was pretty funny. But Alan, it's good that you made an appearance. Let's flip around the horn again here. Quick answers from you girls as we fly through. Brianna, if you had to explain this season in one word, how would you explain it?
I would say different.
Probably a good answer. Kylie,
Yeah.
I would say it was awesome.
very nice. Kaylee, say it again.
Intriguing.
Intriguing. I like it. Lizette?
I don't exactly know how to
Think about that. We'll come back to you. Back to you.
Okay.
You're going to get 2 next time, though, so be ready. Brianna, what would be, do you think you've learned something I know it's kind of a tough question to answer as a high school kid, but do you think you've learned something for like a life lesson here and you'll take with you about this season? Do you think you've learned something for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I think I would say that I learned just how to work with different techniques because the way the coaching is very different. So I learned how to learn from both sides basically and use it.
Well said, Kylie. Same for you.
Yeah, I learned how to cope with the different strategies, and then I just combined them together. And I also learned that you always can't just judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. So when you say strategies, so you mean you're actually like learning skills from the boys that maybe played things a little differently?
Yeah, because like for the girls, we basically from like last year when we played, we basically just like ran and like got ready for an actual game. With the boys, they actually teach us like footwork, we run, and then usually during a scrimmage, we just like sometimes we have fun. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well
So I
said.
just combine them both.
What do you think, Kaylee? You got some life lessons you've learned from this year or what?
I learned how to adapt better with the new situation. Like this has shown me how to like not because I was a little freaked out in the beginning because I wasn't used to this, but this really helped me show how to adapt to new things, to new environments, and all that.
Well said. Lizette, you find that word yet?
Well, I think it's pretty. I mean, it's technically 2 words, probably life-changing or fun.
There we go. We'll accept that. And how has it been life-changing? You can that segues nicely.
Was this part of the second question or is this part of the first question?
Part of the second
okay.
question.
Okay, so it helped us, helped me to learn like how to like work as a team, and we learn new skills that we can apply to our season next year. And it also helped me like to like work with other people that I'm usually not used to working with.
And that will certainly help you later in life. So there you go. You've successfully answered both questions. Nice going, Lizette. We usually end this show, girls, with some rapid fire. Alan, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. You can play a part of this too. I'm actually going to start with you, Alan. All right. Usually this is how we get to meet our guests a little bit. And I know you're just doing the audio portion, Alan, but you'll go first, okay? Just random questions, first thing that comes to mind, all right?
Random question.
Random question. Here you go. Alan, favorite musician?
Musician. I could think of a DJ. Marshmallow.
Okay. Brianna?
Drake.
Drake. I know Drake. Kylie?
Kenny Chesney.
Okay. Good. Get some good diversity here. All sorts of music represented. Kaylee?
Ash Nico.
Who was it? Sorry.
Ash Nico.
I don't think I know Ash Nico. Does that just mean I'm old? Maybe. Lizette?
I would have to say, well, I just learned her name, but I think her name is pronounced Janae Aiko or something like that.
Okay. Coach, why don't you jump in? Favorite musician?
Currently, it's Charlotte de Witte. It's a Belgian DJ.
Wow. Okay. There we go. So we are fully represented around the globe. Very good. Brianna, what's the favorite movie?
Grown Ups.
Grown Ups. Very good. Alan, you there? Favorite movie?
It.
What'd you say?
It. From
It's
by Stephen King.
okay. Kylie?
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect? Kaylee?
Coraline.
Say it again, Kaylee. Sorry. Sometimes you.
Yeah, Coraline.
Coraline. Okay. And Lizette, favorite movie?
I don't exactly have a favorite movie, but I usually prefer horror movies. Probably Annabelle.
All right. Very good. Coach, favorite movie? You got one?
Yeah, it's a series right now with Ted Lasso. It's a soccer coach in England. Absolutely fun.
I watched it too. That's fantastic. I loved that show. All right. Final couple minutes here, girls, and Ellen. What has been the toughest part? Because you're doing this all in a pandemic, which is not easy. This has kind of been a wild year. It doesn't have to be soccer related, but Brianna, what's been the toughest part of life in a pandemic for you, a high school student?
The mask. Wearing masks a lot. It's hard to breathe a lot of times.
Yeah, and on the soccer field too, right? You have to wear it while playing?
Yep.
Yep, you're on mute there, Brianna. You can jump back in. Talk about what's that like playing with the mask on the soccer field?
Playing with the mask on the soccer field, it's hard because you don't want to get called out for pulling your mask down, and you obviously want to take a breath. But it's not that hard to manage, but it does get you sometimes.
All right, Kylie, what's been the toughest part of pandemic life?
The whole thing. It's a life-changing event. We're always on the computer, basically 24/7.
Yeah. Thanks for accepting this interview, by the way, because I know that's where you are again. So sorry about that.
It's okay. And it's the masks. They're just, I get aggravated with them. It's because you have to wear them like around like every store and everything, and it's just bothers me because when you get hot, you can't even breathe.
Yeah, I hear you. We're already life without a mask, I think.
Yeah, and when you pull it down, people are like, they just stare at you like you have like, you don't even care about the world or something. It's just.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, there you are. I now see you. You got a nice setup there, Alan. You look very comfortable.
Thanks.
What's been the toughest part about pandemic life for you?
There's one thing that's very tough, like sitting down on a chair all day. It's not really healthy. Like it'll give you like problems with breathing. It happens to me once, and I had to like keep walking around until like catching my breath until I recover. It's really difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't want to like sit down all day, even though I want to like hang out with my friends outside. But
that's funny. You guys will never miss the. You probably never wanted to be back in a classroom. You never thought you'd want to be back in a classroom more than this, huh? Kaylee, let's go to you on this one. We were just doing the rapid fire. What was my question again, Kylie? What did I ask you? Oh, toughest part about pandemic life, Kaylee.
Staying in shape. It's quite difficult. Before the pandemic, I was working out like 6 days a week, like not missing a beat, all best shape. And then all of a sudden, quarantine, and like I had the motivation to stay working out, and then it just died down. And then I ended up not working out for the whole summer up until soccer. So
Kaylee,
that was like, the most difficult.
I think you're very hard on yourself.
I tend to be, but it's like I got so lazy I didn't do anything. So this was a fun opportunity to help me get back into that cycle and try to see if I can keep that cycle going.
Good for you. Lizette, toughest part about pandemic life as a whole?
Probably the distance, the 6 feet stuff. We can't hang out with like certain people. Like I couldn't hang out with my friends for like a whole year.
Yeah.
And we still had to keep our distance no matter where we go. So yeah, that's the hardest part.
Yep, I hear that. Coach, how about for you?
Yeah, many things, but soccer related. I'm a big fan of the team. I believe in team spirit, and one of the main tools to create that team spirit is to huddle before, after practice, before and after games, really close, and pump each other up. Of course, that's not possible, and that I miss that the most. I can't get the team in a huddle before a game. I'm missing that.
Yeah, it's one of those little things that you don't think about. Well, Greater Lawrence Tech soccer. This has been great talking with you all. I really enjoyed it. It's a great story. I think you might have even more perspective on it in maybe 10, 15, 20 years when you get a chance to look back on it and think of how cool of a season this was when it's all said and done. Trust me on that. I think you will have that perspective. And I'm going to let what do we got? All five of you say one last word. Alan, I'll ask you a first question because the girls are going to get a different one. What has been your favorite part of this soccer season? There must be some good pluses for you.
Communication. That's why I like.
What do you like?
I like communication.
Okay. And girls, the question for you on the way out is this. What would you say to any like young girls that had the same opportunity as you, maybe a chance to play with the boys and are hesitant about it? Brianna, what would you tell them to jump in?
I would tell them definitely go for it. It's a one-time experience and it's something different. You won't always get this opportunity. So definitely try it out.
Good answer. Kylie?
I would tell them just to jump in. It's a very unique experiment, and do what you love. Follow your heart. Never give up.
Nice. Kaylee?
I would say take that opportunity. Show them what you're made of, even though it's cheesy. It's a fun thing to do, whether it's girls or guys.
And just watch out for your ankles if you're on the same field as you. Lizette, what would you tell them?
I would tell them don't feel intimidated just because they're boys. Like it would be a good experience for you. You can pick up new skills and you can learn to work with other people that you're not really used to really working.
Don't be intimidated. I like that. Coach Ringler, I'm going to give you the final word here. Give me a little bit of that final pep talk of the season. Give me a little bit inside that locker room or outside maybe these days. What are you going to say to this group here, and what do you want them to take away with what they meant to you?
I always say the wins and losses are forgotten soon, but the experience of a team, of a season, you will always remember that. And I think this one is a very special one, and this will never be forgotten.
Thank you all so much. This was great. Great story. I'm very sorry you had to come back in front of a computer in your off time. I know this is annoying, and you were all very sweet about it. Thank you all so much. Enjoyed you coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye now. Live at Drew's House, another edition. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.